I have to create one more EMP obj that I never use or not create that property in our component file. So first we create that EMP obj that we create here in our detail component file. Of that EMP obj is a JSON object. Sorry, it's a JSON object. So I'm created any type, and initially it is created a blank. But while you creating a blank, it's give a error or a problem. Why? Because in EMP obj you here mention that dot operator. On the dot operator you mention the key name, but initially we here declare that EMP obj is a blank. The browser or it doesn't understand that EMP obj has a key, that is a name, status, because in the property in the component file we cannot mention that key name. Okay, so it gives an error. If you see here in the output, okay, the output will be data will be not be displayed. Okay, but see here animation is applied. Whatever the animation we created, that animation is applied on your background. First we create a card. On the card we use a background. We apply the 10 color. It is a look like animation because we are shift its position on the percent, 0% to 50%, 50% to 100%. Okay, that position is set according to your parental div. So according to that position is shifted, and we look like is a doing a animation. Okay, next I have to create object and I have to set display the data. So because in a general project we never create every time key of that object, because right now we have to create the keys. I think that entity class contains a lot more keys. Okay, more instance member is there. Right now it is a simply 7 to 8 instance member is there, so it's not a big deal. But whenever that count will be increased, okay, then it will be very difficult to handle in front end side. Okay, to manage that key name, every time we have to create that key name here. Okay, so for that Angular tells to create a model class. Okay, same like when you create in Spring Boot application, you create an entity class. Okay, and that entity class is perform all these things. It create a send the database. You can send the value in the database with the help of entity class. Create the database. All these things. Same in Angular, we have to create a model class to manage that keys in your application. So here first we create a folder. Okay, we can names that folder if you want. I just mentioning the name as a model because that particular entity class I create a model. Okay, for that employee model, country model, a registration model. So I'm just mentioning that folder name as a model. So I'm just creating here in the, okay, I have to create in the app folder. So I create a model as a folder. In that model, I have to create some interface. Okay, I'm just creating here interface, that is employee interface. That interface we learn in our Typescript. So I'm just creating employee.ts. I'm created some interface. In that interface, I have to mention the key name of that your entity class. Whatever the key we use in entity means the instance member, all instance member I have to mention in that model class, and that model class is your interface. So I just copy that because I already created that model class here. I just copy that things. That model class is nothing but your interface. Nothing is different. Okay. Created simple interface. Inside that we can create the ID, name, department as a property. Okay. If you want to make it that ID, name, property as an optional, you can make it as optional as well. According to your requirement, you can mention it or make it as optional. But I want to require all these keys. So I'm not making it as optional. Now I have to map that employee model to my JSON object that I created here, login to EMP obj. I have to map that model. So we can map that with the help of angle bracket. That is we use a type assertion syntax. So you can map that object with the help of greater than, less than, and we can map that employee. Just import that quick fix import. So it is automatically EMP obj get all the keys. So you can access directly now EMP obj.date, EMP obj.status. There is no need to create every time in the that object create a blank key. So that is a better approach that Angular given.